And it's the skipper, George Johnson! It's absolutely wonderful from Scott Fraser.
Well, everyone loves a bit of Boxing Day football, and Charlton looking to return to winning ways after 3 draws in a row. Yes, the Addicts are unbeaten in 7 matches now, but 3 points today would be the perfect late Christmas present for Michael Appleton. Yes, Leyton Orient are the hosts for this 1 p.m. kickoff, and they themselves have drawn 5 of their last 10 league games. Richie Wellens' side sits 16th in their first season back in League One, 4 points behind the Addicts, who you'll be pleased to know have a game in hand. With less than 45 minutes until kickoff, let's take a look at what we have coming up. We'll hear from the manager, Michael Appleton, who spoke to Charlton TV just moments ago ahead of today's match. We'll also check in with former Charlton hero Darren Prattley, who is part of the Leyton Orient squad today. Also a look back at Christmas Spirit Day at the Valley last Saturday. So, warm welcome to everyone here at the Charlton TV studio, and Merry Christmas to everyone. Hope everyone had a good day yesterday. Don't forget to get your live streaming pass, just £10, and as it is Boxing Day, you can watch around the world as well as in the UK. No Scott or Charlotte today, so I'm delighted to be making my Charlton TV return with Steve Brown and Kevin Lisbie, 2 Charlton legends in our company. First of all, guys, happy Christmas.
And to you, Max, and to you. Yep. Did you have a good day?
I did.
Yeah.
Bit full still. Brownie, how was your day?
Yeah, it was all right. We ran out of steam about 8 o'clock in our household. We went for it early, got on it about midday, had a late dinner 5 o'clock, and by 8 o'clock we were spent. Ended up watching, what did I say, Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
Yeah, and that was it, drifted off.
Yeah, it took us about an hour to remember what Brownie watched last night. We got there in the end. Back to the Future, which is exactly what you're going to do today. How was your Christmas, Kevin?
Yeah, it was good. Had all the family around. They normally come around mine, and dinner about 4 o'clock, and then it sort of continues to about probably 1 o'clock in the morning. But I normally switch off about 9 o'clock. I can't remember. I sort of black out from there, and I can't remember much of the day since. So yeah, it's nice, and we've spoken about it before. Once you retire as a footballer, this is our time to enjoy ourselves with our friends and family. So it's a good one.
What do former footballers ask for Christmas? That's the key question.
In our house, nothing, because there's no point. Yeah, no, we don't. Me and Mandy don't really. It's all about the kids and the grandkids. I mean, not our grandkids, but others. But it's all about the younger people in our household. We don't even, as you would expect, entertain Christmas.
No.
Present-wise.
You don't look like that sort of person.
It would just be disappointing, really disappointing. Yeah, so no, don't ask for anything. Kids got me a nice new jumper.
There's my joke. It's got
yeah, I thought it might be. Don't even know what it is, but it fits. That's a bonus in itself.
Liz, how about you? Any nice presents yesterday?
Yeah. My boys are at a decent age now where they can afford to buy me something. So yeah, we normally give gifts, and not many, but there's a couple presents around the tree, and yeah, we make a real good day of it. Unlike Brownie.
No, we had a good day. We had a really good day.
Half a day.
Yeah, we just don't do presents, me and Mandy. Kids get something. Of course they do.
One thing you both did, Boxing Day football. Yeah. What was it like, Brownie? Take us back.
Well, the hardest thing was getting in the team.
After a big meal, eh?
Yeah, kind of hoping Richard was fit so I wasn't playing and I could have a good Christmas day. But no, I mean, I didn't particularly like the Christmas fixture list, if I'm honest. But I remember beating Palace here once, which was that sticks in the memory, you know, as it should. Yeah, I think we beat them 2-1 here. But yeah, I didn't like, you know, you were quite often up to the training ground in the morning, back down, and I lived a good hour away, you know, back down to the house to celebrate Christmas with the family. Everyone there having a great time, all drinking, all having a good meal, and you're sort of knowing you've got to get back on the motorway up to quite often a hotel that was booked somewhere, and tried to remain very, very professional, whether you were playing or not. It was immaterial. You had to prepare like you were going to be involved. So that's why Kev says, now we're not. You have to make the most of the Christmas period. But whilst you're in the middle of it, it's you have to remember it's a privileged position you're in as a professional footballer, and you have to stay very, very focused, very professional on the job in hand.
Of course, Kev, you played for Leyton Orient as well. So the key question today, who do you want to win this one?
Oh.
Remember which studio you're in.
That's loaded.
I was going to say.
That is loaded, that is. Listen, I'm here today to commentate on the game and what I see, but both of these clubs mean a lot to me. Really, really special times at Charlton and some unbelievable times at Leyton Orient towards the back end of my career. So, look, for me, an ideal well is a draw. But it should be the best team that wins. I think the team that turns up today and performs, handles the occasion, should win. And I think that's how it is. I've got no control over how both teams perform. So if you don't perform and you don't do well, then you don't win the game. So I just hope that we have a good game and may the best team win.
Well said. It's easy to remember the numbers as well. Charlton in 11th place, 11 points off the playoff spots. Brownie, a lot of draws recently. Yeah. 3 points necessary today.
Yeah, we keep saying that though.
Yeah.
We
I'll
do.
keep asking.
Yeah, no, but yeah, and you have to, because every game that we draw, I said it on air, the last game, every game you draw, it puts the pressure on the next result, and we're drawing far too many games. I mean, that's just you have periods as a football team sometimes when you can't understand it, you can't explain it. There's games you should win and the opposition find a way to score a goal, and there's games you're behind and you find a way to score a goal, and then it just 4 draws in 5 games. It's a killer. It absolutely stalls the season, and draws are only good, in my opinion, when you back them up with a win. If you go draw, loss, you've lost ground. You can say, we've only lost 1 in the last 3, and you lose ground on the teams above. You're better off winning 1, drawing 1, losing 1. It's the way it is. It's stuttering our season as it stands, and this team's got to find a way to either hold on to a lead or come back from behind rather than just get level. But it's a tough period for everyone involved.
But Kevin, if you read the facts, last league defeat, October 28th against Bolton, it is a long way off, but so many draws now. Do you think the players at this point, with that unbeaten run, are playing with more freedom or more pressure, given they need a win today?
I think after that performance the other day, I think it's going to be pressure. I think today's a real pressure game for them with that performance, only because of that performance. And it's more to do with the performance than the result. I think if they played well on the other day and they sort of were unlucky not to get the win, I think you can come into this game and you'd think, look, we played well, so let's continue doing what we're doing. But that's not one of the things you can say. You can't say, let's continue what we're doing, because you're not playing well at the moment. So I think it's really important that they give a good performance as well as get the win, because as Brownie said, you don't want just the 1 win. You don't want a few draws. You want to start getting 2 or 3 wins now. You want to start climbing up the table, because teams are stretching away from us. And I think if we don't start getting wins, I think the gap's going to be too big to climb. And I think it almost ends up in one of those seasons where you're just playing for the sake of it.
Yeah, I think the worrying thing is we've played teams in December that are predominantly bottom half or been in the bottom 4, and a period of the year where we would have expected to close the gap on 6th, we're actually getting further away. I can't remember which month it is. I'm going to go for February. We've got a horror month.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, we've got a horror month in terms of where the teams are currently sat in the league and the form they're in. That might change over the next 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and we've got a transfer window. So things do change rather quickly in football. But as it stands, you looked at December, you looked at Cambridge, you looked at Carlisle, Cheltenham, Burton, Leyton Orient today.
Yeah, winnable games.
You've got to start closing the gap with those fixtures, and we haven't. We've actually fallen further away.
Well, you were talking about it before we came on, about Leyton Orient's home form, so potentially something to give some confidence to Charlton today.
Yeah, but you've got to throw in our away form, 1 win all season away from home. And I know we again, this is where draws kill you. We've drawn 3-1-1, I think, of the last 4, which is a much better return than our early form away from home. But we've only won one game away all season. However, Leyton Orient's home form, I didn't realise until doing the stats for today how poor it was. 11 points from 10 games, only 9 goals. You know, so they need to pick up as well. So 2 teams a little bit out of form in their respect, you know, in terms of Orient at home, not great. Charlton away, not great. Although recent form's been better, Max.
And Kevin, with a new year comes the January transfer window as well. So how many points do you think Charlton need over the next 3 games?
I want to say 6. I think as Brownie just said, I think we've got to start eliminating those draws now. I think we've got to start, even if you go out to a game and you look to win it and you sacrifice maybe a draw to win a game. But I think it gets to a point where we are at the moment. I think if your team's like Bolton and that, and you can have the draw and that because it keeps momentum going. I think it's not about momentum. I think Charlton need to start getting wins now. And in doing that, you might lose a game. Like the other day here, I felt we should have gone for the second goal because I felt that we had Burton where we wanted them, and I felt like the second goal was coming, and then all of a sudden they get that goal and it's 1-1. So I felt like we took our foot off the pedal a little bit. We spoke about the other day about decision making, too many touches, not laying people in there who are free in the box to kill the game off, and then you can start doing your fancy tricks and that. But I feel like we need to start winning games, and for me, 3 games, I think we need 6 points. I think we need 6 points. And as I say, if we sacrifice maybe losing a game to try and get it, I think we need to start doing that.
Well, for now, 3 points this afternoon. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff. Let's hear it from the manager, Michael Appleton.
Michael, short trip across London to Leyton Orient for this Boxing Day fixture. You've made no changes to the side that drew against Burton Albion. What are you thinking behind that?
Well, I think it's another opportunity for some of the players to, I wouldn't say put what we didn't do particularly well right today. I thought for large periods of the game we were safe, we were comfortable the other day, and obviously we got hit with a sucker puncher at the end. If we can eliminate them type of errors, then we'll be fine.
There's it's probably fair to say there's been a few Jekyll and Hyde performances, not necessarily week to week, even mid-game potentially. It's a case of getting that right and hopefully getting a 3 points just around the festive period to get rid of the what happened on Saturday, I suppose.
I think it is. I think the game's perfect for us. Obviously, it is a derby. You know, it's a London derby, and it's an opportunity to sort of get back on the pitch 48 hours or so after, obviously, the disappointment of Saturday. What I would say is that, you know, it's moments in the games that are killing us at the minute. It's not necessarily sort of periods of the game. I think the last sort of few away games we've been pretty strong. Our performances have been pretty strong. We need another one of those today. I know there's been a lot said, or I believe there's been a lot said out there. Camp coming, they're going to come right at us, and I think we take up that challenge and look forward to it.
Does that happen? I mean, we saw it happen on a few occasions up to now, but when other teams see that we might be susceptible at times, does that lift their confidence and it's something we've got to battle against?
Possibly, but we could say that we're going to come after them for the first 10 minutes and try to be free and look like Bolton were. So look, it's one of them. It's a little bit tongue-in-cheek. I think ultimately it's a different game. It's an opportunity for both teams to, you know, probably put what they felt they could have probably got a different result a few days earlier, especially us obviously being ahead so late in the game. But again, another opportunity to get a little bit step closer to where we want to be. We're
back on the road, all right. It's not the longest of trips, but I guess you'd want to see replicate the performance at least that we put on against Barnsley.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, I couldn't argue with the performance at Barnsley. I thought it was top draw. Obviously, got done by a speculative decision, but what didn't happen on that day is they didn't allow it to affect them. Probably affected me more than the players. I don't normally get booked, but no, I think. Listen, if we can get anything close to that, we'll give ourselves a really good chance of winning today.
We've said before, the fans love the festive period because of the amount of games, the players and management and coaches less so potentially, but it's a sold-out away end, so it'd be good to put in a performance and get a result for those.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good atmosphere today. I'm guessing they're going to be pretty much sold out, or if not very, very close to it, and obviously with us selling our allocation, it'll probably have a similar sort of feel to the Pompey game, where you feel the crowd's right on top of you, and it ends up being a little bit of an electric atmosphere and almost feels like a derby anyway.
Good. Well, good luck, Michael. 3 points, hopefully. Cheers.
Well, great to hear from Michael there. Looking forward to this local derby. Here's confirmation of his Charlton starting 11, and we are unchanged from the 1-1 draw against Burton. Brownie, starting with you, your thoughts on the Charlton lineup?
I'm surprised there are no changes. I have to be brutally honest. we were a home side against a team seriously out of form. 1 point from 7 games. I mean, they've got 2 points from 8 now. And I'm surprised we haven't seen changes. But I mean, what can you do? It's not, no disrespect, but that's not the strongest of benches we've seen this year. We've had stronger benches, but injuries have taken their toll. I guess you could push Fraser into the Chem Campbell role and bring in Louis Watson. But, and I say this every week, you've got to trust the guy that takes the team every day in training. He knows what he's seeing, and he knows how they're training, and he knows what levels they're hitting behind the scenes. And that's a different perspective than when you're sat here and you just watch the matches. All right, because you there are things going on at training grounds where someone's attitude isn't quite where it needs to be. They don't train as hard as they should, etc., etc. And that does factor in when picking a team. But if we'd have come in today and you'd have said there's been 2-3 changes, I don't think we would have been surprised. So what he has done is given that group an opportunity to correct, what should have been a winning result on against Burton today. But I hope they've been sold the London derby, because that quite often goes underlooked these days. And I think they're going to rip into us. Yeah. I think they'll understand the difference. They're the slightly small. Well, they're not slightly. They're the smaller club, and they're on their own patch. And if I was in their dressing room, I'd be selling that for sure.
Kevin, where do you think the match is going to be won today? Looking at that lineup, particularly.
I feel like a broken record. I would have May in that number 10 position. I think. Looking at the game the other day, not enough touches from him. Not enough touches in the box. Not enough touches in general in the game. And I think when you've got a game changer like he is, I think you've got to try and find a way of getting him in the game. I'm hoping today that Watson sort of pushes up on that right side, and then May sort of comes in and makes the second striker or the third striker, however you want to put it. I just want to see him in that central area a little bit more. I think every time he touches the ball, something happens. Obviously scores goals as we could see over the season, but I'd like to see Watson a little bit higher today, and then I'd like to see May come in, maybe in that little pocket there where defenders can't go in or don't want to go in there, and then he can sort of make those third men run and create chances. Yeah, it's a really good point. And we've never really replaced Raksaki from last year on that right-hand side. It's been a problem position for us, and actually we were asked a question on Saturday about where we need to strengthen, and actually that right side is probably one. And that does give you options then with Elfie. I totally agree. It's a brilliant point Kev's made about getting more out of Elfie. We had 3 shots on target in 90 minutes against Burton, and that's just not enough for the home side whose home form is as good as it is. I think we're averaging over 2 goals a game here, and we had 3 shots on target. So it's a good point.
So that's the team news. As for the League One fixtures today, it is a jam-packed calendar. One of the many reasons why we love Boxing Day football. We're obviously the early kick-off today, so all the other teams will be in action following our game. Bristol Rovers host top of the table Portsmouth, while our pre-Christmas opponents Burton Albion take on Blackpool. Exeter City, in desperate need of a win, welcome Wycombe Wanderers, while Lincoln City against Bolton Wanderers should be a fascinating tie. Neil Harris has had quite the impact at Cambridge United, more on them shortly. They face a difficult trip to Des Buckingham's Oxford United, who we'll see here in the new year. Second place Peterborough United face a Reading side looking to move out of the top 4 relegation spots today, while 4th place Derby County travel to Wigan Athletic. Brownie, Cambridge United have won twice against Exeter and Blackpool since their late draw here. A fantastic start for Neil Harris, isn't it?
A great start, and I know Neil well. I've actually interviewed for jobs with Neil. He's a great guy. I really like him. When you get to know people a little bit. Don't know him that well, but obviously I've interviewed, I've spoke with him, we've had phone conversations. I actually got offered a job at a club he was at recently. And
getting all the news now.
No, and actually speaking with him, you get to like him even more. I think what happened to him at Gillingham was extremely unfortunate, if I'm honest with you. I don't know what went on, but he should probably still be there. It happens in football quite often, but he's moved on. And the one thing Neil does incredibly well is he makes a team very, very difficult to beat. The problem you have is when it's not flying going forward, it can come under a little bit of criticism. But you've got to stick with him, because eventually he gets it right. And, Cambridge are in free fall. And again, you look at their manager, did a great job when he went into Cambridge. And everybody was gutted to see him go, but everybody has a shelf life. And actually, for somebody to go in and get results and keep Cambridge in the league, Neil was a very good pick. Very good pick.
And Kevin, if you look at the table, those playoff spots are so tight, but Pompey now 5 points clear. Any stopping them, do you think?
I think Portsmouth will be there in and around. I think they're going to go on a good run. They're a good team, and as Barney alluded to before, you got the window coming up as well. For me, if I'm a championship player or a League One player in another team, you'd want to go Portsmouth. You'd want to play there. I've played there so many times. The crowd electric there, and it's a massive club. I can't see them dropping too many points. If that's who we're going to catch to get in that spot, I think we'll struggle at the moment. So yeah, I'm looking at Portsmouth and I'm thinking they're a team that probably will get promoted or be in and around it.
Well, away from the football just for a moment, while we hope everyone out there had a great Christmas, it can be a difficult time for those with family members going through ill health. Before Christmas, both the men's and women's first teams here at Charlton visited some local hospitals. Let's have a look.
Days like today, when you sort of find out how lucky you are and how blessed you are. Quite a few who come here today have got kids of our own. One of the things we sort of realise as well is the work that gets put in at places like this, hospices up and down the country. As a manager working at various clubs, I've sort of been sort of fortunate to visit many hospices up and down the country, and you never fail to appreciate and understand the work that goes in.
For us personally, it's all about memory making via Demelza. So the fantastic players come, meet and greet the children and just give them care and love and talk to them. And for me, or like most of the Demelza parents, it's all about making amazing memories.
We've met some of the families, how strong they are and how they cope and what they have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. It just becomes a very sort of humbling experience, really, and I think it's one of them where you walk through the door and obviously you try and be as joyful as you possibly can, but at the same time there's that element of sort of feeling how sort of lucky you are and blessed you are. Now, if we can bring a little bit of joy for a small period of time to 4 or 5 kids and their family, then that's obviously fantastic from our point of view.
He was fascinated actually by the guys' Father Christmas hats, but they talked to him and they, holding his hand and just being normal with him, which is priceless. It's lovely.
Myself and a few of the players, we've had a visit down to Queen Elizabeth Hospital just to have a visit to some of the children wards and obviously see some of the poorly children that unfortunately at a special family time of year they're spending time in hospital.
We know how big in the community the club is, and yeah, it's important for us to obviously show our face and just before Christmas to put smiles on kids' faces. Obviously, we know some of them in not great places, but to give back obviously to the community and give back to the kids that are not in a great place at the moment. But yeah, for us, it's great to obviously give our presents and obviously play games, like some of the boys playing Jenga and stuff like that. And it's important to do that.
I mean, we do live quite like a privileged life compared to a lot of people, so for us it's just about the small things to be able to give back, to see the smiles on people's faces, and yeah, for them it's probably a big thing, whereas for us it might not feel as big, but it makes someone happy, especially at this time of year.
It's brought so much joy to not just the children, but even to the adults and the staff as well. We just thank you guys so much for giving up all your time in coming to just be here and give out presents and just be, and even selfies and photographs as well. It's just been amazing.
It's been really eye-opening to see, and obviously as a father myself, it puts things into perspective about how lucky we are that my children don't have to spend Christmas in hospital. So it's been appreciative of obviously the good work that the NHS are doing and the doctors and nurses, again, who sacrifice their own family time at Christmas to look after people who are in need.
Again, just to connect with people and being here in the hospital, I think it's a big eye-opener for us. We're all fit and healthy, so yeah, to meet people that may be struggling this time of year, it's just nice to give to them. Everybody's contributed, they've all put money in so that gifts could be bought and gifts can be presented, and again, it's just us giving time and giving things back to the community.
obviously we know towards Christmas it's tough hours and stuff like that, but obviously they're here day in, day out, and yeah, no, obviously they make it enjoyable for the kids, and yeah, you can see that the kids enjoy the time here. Obviously it's not a great time for them, but they also always with a smile on their face, so that's important.
It's brought a lot of joy to us staff, as well as obviously all the patients and the adult wards as well.
It can't go unnoticed. The doctors and nurses sacrifice so much. It's such a busy time of year. They probably won't get to see their own families. The hospital doesn't shut down on Christmas Day. So it's a massive appreciation for the fantastic work that takes place.
All our love and best wishes all go out to everyone we saw in that video there. And Brownie, great to see the players spreading some festive cheer.
Absolutely, and that's been going on for as long as I can remember. You know, and it's the least you can do. The most precious thing you can give is your time. You know, and I think Charlton are particularly good at it. We say this most weeks. You know, our community scheme is one of the best in the country, and it's only right and fitting when you're in a privileged position to be a professional footballer. And you really are. When you actually work out the numbers, you are really in a privileged position. The least you can do is give your time whenever the club calls upon it in any community situation for charity. The Demelza one is pretty close to home for quite a few people that I know who are supporters of this football club. John Hayes in particular, Access Europe. I think he's just raised 400,000 actually, just recently in the last week or two, and a lot of that will go to Demelza House. There's some fantastic work that this football club do in the community. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, Kevin, both the men's and women's first team players put money in for the presents we saw, and then the under-21 sides wrapped those presents up. So nice that the entire club are being involved with that.
Yeah, I don't think, as Brownie said, I don't think it's too much to do with the money they put in. I think the least we can do is time. I think the kids will probably appreciate the fact that those players have taken their time out from their, and it is a big, busy schedule, to go and support them. To put smiles on their face, and they look, and as Brownie said, we've been doing this for years. This isn't something that's happened recently. This is something that's happened before my time, and I'm sure before Brownie's time as well. The club is really invested in giving back to the community, and the players are as well. Well, they have been since I was there as well. So I think it's the least you can do once you play for this club, I think, and most clubs is give your time over this period of the year to put smiles on people's faces.
And Brownie, when you look at the big pressure moments of Boxing Day and into the new year, but this all puts everything into perspective, I'm sure, for the players.
Yeah, of course it does. I remember a very good story with a former player, a good friend of ours, Chrissy Powell. You know, and he never went for press. He didn't need people to know. You know, he went and did it off his own back. He'd go and visit children in hospital, people that he knew before we come in training. You know, and people did get to find out about it. It's those moments when you show your true character, your true colours. And we were particularly given, I think. You know, we had a club back in the late 90s, early 2000s, where it wasn't just about hospital visits. It was about fans, not forums, what they called. And we were going up and down the country, down to Hastings, you know, wherever there was, a fan base that had a community, we would go as a group. So it's been going on for a long time, and all these little things don't necessarily need to be publicised. Yeah. They're done because people want to do them, and that's the key bit. You should want to do it. And whenever it's put at your door, whenever you come round on that list, off we used to pop and do whatever we could. And it's right that it should continue for as long as this club's running.
I think if you look at me and Bradley's face when that video was going on, we weren't surprised, and there wasn't an admiration for what they were doing. This is something that has been and will be going on for years. And as Brownie said, and I totally agree with him, that's the least we can do. That's the least we can do. And as Brownie said, not everything has to be advertised and publicised. I think this is something that needs to go on throughout the season as well, and I'm hopefully, and I'm sure the club do it anyway.
Well said, both of you. Just over 15 minutes until kick-off now. And last Saturday here at the Valley, it was Christmas Spirit Day, and Charlton TV's James Sherwood took a look around for us.
Good afternoon, Charlton fans. We hope you're coming down to the Valley today for the first of our festive fixtures against Burton Albion in League One. And to encourage you a little more, today at Charlton, it is Christmas Spirit Day. So the big man himself is here in the house at the Valley today. Santa, first up, can I get a score prediction for Charlton Athletic versus Burton Albion in League One?
I'm going to go for 2-1 to Charlton.
Come on, you addicts, of course. And I'd like to put in my present request. I want a commanding, creative central midfielder. You think you can sort that out for the transfer window?
Have to ask you else for that one, unfortunately. That's beyond me.
All right, fair enough. Let's see what they can magic up. I'm on my way to the Christmas grotto. We've got Charlton superstars either side, from the men's team, the women's team, and the Charlton Upbeats. And apparently a certain Louis Watson is somewhere to be found. So I've got Karen and Harry at the front of the queue, guys, ready to meet a couple of Charlton superstars. Are you excited?
Yeah, I think I am more than he is.
What's your prediction for today's game against Burton Albion?
3-0 win, hopefully.
So Josh and Billy waiting very patiently in the queue to meet Lloyd Jones. You excited?
Yeah, he's my favourite player.
Nice. You're a bit of a central defender yourself?
No, striker.
Oh, OK, so more like Alfie May. What about you, dude? Where'd you play?
Centre back.
Ah, so you're going to be getting some advice. What question are you going to ask him about his game?
Don't know.
Leon Ohana in the queue to meet some Charlton superstars this Christmas. Are you excited?
Yes.
What question are you going to ask?
I don't know.
You guys have got no questions ready. Imagine if I had no questions ready. What is your score prediction for today's game against Burton Albion?
3-0.
To?
Charlton.
Obviously, I didn't even need to ask you. What about down here?
3-1.
So Cooper travelled all the way from Australia to be here. Massive Charlton fan. Are you excited to meet some of your heroes?
Yeah, it's going to be good, because I already have seen some as well. I've seen them play later as well.
Yeah, of course you are. That's why you're here today at the Valley. What's your prediction for today's score?
I'm hoping maybe 3-0, maybe.
So, Gaffer, the first question I've got to ask, how comes you don't have to wear a Christmas jumper? How did you get out of it?
I've worn enough Christmas jumpers this week, I'm telling you, with different parties and etc. So, yeah, that's why you got it today.
So there is some Christmas spirit in there. That's what we like to hear. But with it all around us, how do you maintain your focus across this Christmas period?
To be fair, it's pretty easy. I think once you've been doing it for as long as what I've been doing it, it becomes, you know, just a normal period. It's not what people want to hear, I know, because it's a festive season and my wife goes mad, but I think ultimately when you've been doing it for 30 odd years, it just becomes another bank holiday, whether it's Easter, Christmas. Still doesn't mean that we can't enjoy it at times and have our moments, but there's a lot of focus to it.
And a message for the fans out there today across the Christmas time?
Just wishing everyone a very Merry Christmas, and obviously hopefully it's going to be a really good New Year for everybody.
Great stuff. Thanks a lot. Good luck for the game today. Roll up, hot off of the press, available from today as a stocking filler. I know it's a bit big, but the Charlton Athletic 2024 calendar.
Well, a big shout out to that Charlton fan all the way from Australia, and you saw it at the end there, the Charlton 2024 calendar will be available to purchase here on New Year's Day when the Addicts take on Oxford United. Kevin, did you have any Charlton calendars back in the day?
Charlton calendars. Was that even a thing back in the day, really?
I didn't make it. I didn't make the 12 months, unfortunately.
Yeah, we used to have it. I've actually got one at home. I'll get the dust off it, but yeah, we've got a really nice one at home for all the players, and we used to love this time of the year, didn't we, as a club and as a team. But yeah, some good memories, and it's good to see that they're continuing it.
Well, one thing that can beat a Charlton calendar, just one thing, meeting Father Christmas himself, and guess who got to do that? Brownie, talk us through it. Look at that beautiful
Christmas
picture.
spirit, isn't it? You've got to get into the swing of it. That's why we wore. That's why we wore the jumpers. I mean, Charlotte dragged me on there kicking and screaming, to be fair, and it was quite a step up, and I was a bit worried about getting back down.
You look excited. That you look like you.
I love Christmas, Kev.
You
know me. I sell this miserable half glass full, but no, actually half glass empty. Sorry, but no, I'm actually quite in the spirit. And we got some, that was for charity. It was Keith Wisdom.
Can I get a picture? Can I get that picture?
You can take it with you,
yeah,
Kev. Yeah,
cheers, thank you.
Yeah, but it was for charity, and multiple charities actually. And again, that was parked in the car park around the back, raising money. And I was speaking to the guys, and over the month of December, they raised like £10,000, and it goes to all the local charities. It's not just one; there's about 10. So in terms of, like we say about giving time, spoke to everybody on that stall, got into the sleigh, had my picture taken, and And whatever stick comes my way, comes my way.
But you're used to it. You're used to it.
This water for dogs back to me, Kev.
Yeah,
I've had it all my life.
A big thanks to the Rotary Club of Erith for bringing along their Father Christmas to meet Brownie, James, and of course many other Charlton fans as well. And as mentioned, Saturday was the club's Christmas Spirit Day, and we'd encourage all Charlton supporters to donate to the Charlton Athletic Community Trust to support the great work they do. All you have to do is visit cact.gives/donate to donate now. And starting with that game against Oxford United to kickstart the new year, join us at the Valley with a 2023-24 half-season ticket to ensure you don't miss a single moment of the action. The ideal Christmas present for friends and loved ones, a half-season ticket guarantees your seat at the Addicts' final 11 home matches this season. With adult prices starting from just £160, a half-season ticket offers brilliant value for money compared with regular matchday prices, saving you over £100 across the second half of the campaign. Now, Leyton Orient's Darren Pratley became a fan favourite here, particularly that playoff semi-final match in 2019 against Doncaster. We got a few words with the big man before the match today.
Perhaps Charlton to come on Boxing Day, one of your former clubs. How much are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, looking forward to the game. Club obviously special to me. Spent a good few years there, so looking forward to the game, see some familiar faces, and hopefully we can try and get a decent result.
A good 3 years there, as you say. What are your standout memories from your time there?
I think obviously playing in the playoff final, getting promoted, was a special time, special group, and we see how much it meant to the fans, so probably the playoff final.
Because it was a pretty dramatic ending, wasn't it? Yeah, I'm sure you can remember it.
Yeah, I do remember it. Patrick Bauer, of all people, when he scored the winner. And yeah, it was scenes after a day that I'll never forget. Great times.
You've obviously had a long career, so where does that rank that day in particular?
Yeah, I've been lucky to have a few promotions in my career, but yeah, like you said, the timing of the goal to go and get promoted with that set of boys, it's definitely up there. So, like I said, I'll never forget that moment, and yeah, really enjoyed my time there.
And you got a really nice reception from the Charlton fans when we played there on the opening day of this season. What did that mean to you?
Yeah, they've been great with all the players, the former players that have come back. I remember when Pat first come back, when he signed for Preston, he got a good reception. And like you said, myself, I got a good reception when I come back. It was great for me. Obviously, I had friends and family in the crowd, so it was nice to get a good reception from the Charlton fans. And I really appreciate it. So they know at the time, I worked my socks off for them, and I had a good spell. So yeah, very grateful for their reception.
Well, great to hear from Darren there. A true pro, right, Kevin?
Yeah, I've played against Darren a few times, and he's a good player. And as you say, a true pro, and he's hitting these later stages of his career, but he keeps himself fit, and it's only right that the club give him a good round of applause when he came here, and hopefully they'll give him another one today, because he's had some good times at Charlton, and he gave his all. He's one of those players that give their absolute all on the pitch, and he deserves the accolades he gets from the Charlton fans.
Yeah, Brownie, speaking of good times, the 2019 playoff semi-final here at the Valley in front of a sold-out crowd, his goal in extra time, that won't leave the memory bank for a long time.
No, I think there's certain things you do across a career. I mean, Kev doesn't like to talk about it, but you scored a hat-trick once against Liverpool, didn't you?
You bring it up more than me, you know that.
And so these moments across your career, they're only moments. Across a 10, 12, 14-year career, there's only a dozen moments maybe that stick out like a sore thumb. The rest of it sort of pales into one big blob that you can't remember. That will, for Darren, stick out for as long as he lives. And it doesn't matter if it's 10 years after retirement, 20, when he's got his grandkids in his arm, that will be there forever. And it's a moment, and there are moments that you will never forget. And it is a great feeling, isn't it? Yeah. It is one of the best feelings. And at the time, it just is like you roll on to another day. Yeah. You know, Saturday becomes Sunday, becomes Monday, you're back in training. But 20 years later, you're like, you know, that was a big day, big moment. And he's got that forever. So it's pleasing, because he is a good lad, by the way. Really good lad.
Kevin, do you want me to ask you about the Liverpool game or Darren? Which one?
Darren, he's said everything there is to say about.
More important, really, isn't it?
Oh, dear.
You talk about what you feel is more important.
Good answer. What impact do you think Darren will have on the game today?
He's an experienced player. He'll manage the game. He'll understand what the game means, 'cause obviously having played for both clubs. I think it'll be important. And I spoke the other day, didn't, about having experienced people in your team. And I felt someone like him, maybe not playing every week, but just in and around the lads, I think it'd be a good addition to this team. Quite surprised when I saw him go, especially to another League One club who are around the corner. So I think he's going to be really key today. He'll manage the game, he'll understand what the game means, and maybe his experience in that middle of the park may made a difference today, but we'll see.
We let the wrong central midfielder go at that period as well. We should have kept him, and we should let the other one go. But, you know, water under the bridge. But what he'll do is, so in the home game, Rob Hunt, the fullback, who I know quite well, Blackett Taylor gave him a right good going over. And it looks like it's a 3-5-2 again today, but he's changed two of his central midfielders. And listen, Bolton's tough, whatever side you put out for Leyton Orient. That's a tough fixture, one of the toughest on paper. But he's changed two of his central midfielders. And what Darren Pratley will do is, he's the guy that will identify, is Rob Hunt under pressure here? Do I need to go and get out there and give him a hand? He'll sacrifice his own game at times to go and help other people. That's the kind of professional we've got in Darren Pratley. Right? We don't have enough of them left in the game. A lot of players are too selfish these days. They look after themselves. They do what they want to do. He's not. He will go and help somebody else that needs help during a game, that's having a bad day in terms of their 1v1 battle. That's what you get. You get communication, you get leadership, and he's unselfish. You know, the reality is, though, he's probably in his last year or two. All right, unless he's like you, goes on for what were you, 43 or something? Still knocking in the
42, but Stephen.
Yeah. So he's got a couple of years to go yet before he gets to Kev's level, but that's what he offers in the side today.
Well, Darren returned to the Valley for our first game of this season back in August. Let's remind ourselves of the match. We faced Leyton Orient back in August, 1-0 victory, of course. Brownie, this seems like a long time ago now. What do you remember from this match?
I remember that, you know, expectations are first game of the season, like you've got a home tie against a side that's just come up. And so you want to get off to a good start. And actually, I remember finishing this game, we were deserved winners, but we weren't outstanding, if you like. But we done enough to win the game. Blackett Taylor was particularly good on the day. But it was one of our 3 clean sheets. Came back. Yeah, and that, you know, and if there's one thing that I would say, you know, what we could be a lot better at is actually keeping clean sheets. But yeah, I mean, I think it was a good time to meet them as well. Yeah, definitely. I really do, because you know, Richie Wellens is a good manager, a capable manager. Just got them up, and they're going to move the ball well. His sides are notoriously good at moving the ball through the units, and I think before they got comfortable up in League One, I think that was a good time to meet them.
Yeah, Kev, a perfect start for the captain, George Dobson, with the goal.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that goal, he's just in the right place at the right time, and if only we had that the other day, people running without the ball, and I think that's what he did. And you get that, and Brownie said at the beginning of the season, you get this, you get the energy, you get the enthusiasm. It's just about maintaining it and keeping it going throughout the whole season. And unfortunately, when you start losing games, you stop making those runs and you stop doing the things that work. But I heard the manager just